mainstream, commercial, Hollywood screenwriting. That's what I'm going for, and I give them the tools for that. One of the single most important aspects of screenwriting, any long-form narrative, even novel writing too, but just screenwriting in particular, is change. Everything in the story must keep changing as it flows. It has to be different 5-10 minutes from now than what the circumstances were previously 10 minutes ago. It has to keep changing. Three acts, okay? In a screenplay, you've got 3 acts. First act. In Act 1, I noticed, there are 6 sequences following one another that I came to call hero goal sequences. Here's the definition for a hero goal sequence. A hero goal sequence is any 2 to 7 page section of your screenplay in which and through which your hero or heroine pursues one short-term goal, physical short-term goal, only one, as one step toward achieving the overall story goal, right? Just that little piece of it. And at the end of that 7 or so, nothing is exact, but 7 or so pages, something happened or some discovery is made by this hero that I call fresh news. In other words, they turn up something that was unknown by them and by us, by the audience, about what they are doing, that puts an end to that current single goal and offers up a new short-term physical single goal to be pursued in the next step. And that there are 6 of these hero goal sequences, 6 little individual pursuits of individual specific goals in the entirety of Act 1. In the second half of Act 2, there are 6 more, wonder of wonders. There are 6 more hero goal sequences, and hero goal sequence 18 always contains Stunning Surprise 2. Not 17, not 19, 18 in every movie that works for audiences. In other words, every hit movie that you can analyze because it's doing something right, this is the pattern. And then in Act 3, it's the only act where it can vary, where the numbers can vary. And in Act 3, you have between 2 and 5 hero goal sequences. This is a way of quantifying change. It tells you in advance, this must happen in these few pages. But structurally, the bones are these 20 to 23 hero goal sequences laid out in this exact way, and they don't change. No detailed plan, no Oscar. It's just not going to happen. If you're going to build a house, especially an intricate one as intricate as a screenplay for a really good movie, you have to have architectural renderings. And I would argue the tools, quantifying change, understanding the 14 character categories, knowing that there are 10 modes of plot coming out of how many heroes and what the hero's relationship is to other characters. There's only 10 of those, and once you have an idea, pick your 10, pick which of the 10. That's going to save you a lot of time and a lot of agony. Chess. Chess is a rather interesting game, and there are untold millions of possibilities, maybe infinite possibilities. There are 6 pieces in a chess game. But how to use those 6 pieces and multiple combinations and so on create probably the most fascinating, intricate, and mind-twisting game ever invented. There are tools in screenwriting.
What are the most common mistakes new screenwriters make?
Okay, there's a list, but the most, let's just say the 3 most common ones that I see are, number 1, not enough story. Again, it's that old thing. Characters can be wonderful, dialogue can be sparkling and even funny as heck. But if the story lays there just flat as a pancake, that story is not going anywhere. It's a weak story. Number 2 would be passive central character. That has killed more scripts than just about anything I've ever seen. And weak story and passive central character, they go together. They really fit together too. A passive central character is a hero or heroine, the lead down the middle, who doesn't really do anything. And life and the story happen to them. They do not happen to anything or anyone. And that is a one way to put your audience to sleep very, very quickly. Heroes have to be active. The hero is the audience. You build a story so that the hero is, with lots of flaws and everything, fine, yes, make them human, but they have certain qualities, character, of character and of circumstance. They have to be brave. That is absolutely essential. But you can put them in, unfair injury. We care about people who are being unjustly dealt with. They're in a situation of danger. They're funny. They have a sense of humor. That always helps. Loved by other people. There is this kind of list of things you can do to keep characters interesting. That allows us to like them, and once we start seeing the nature of the hero or heroine's major problem and the major impossible task before them, hopefully on about page 6 or 8, we, the audience becomes one person, each of us sitting alone, and we psychologically project ourselves into the hero, and then we're along for the ride. And if that hero doesn't do anything or doesn't want anything, and other people do all this stuff, and all the people that come in, all the secondary characters are the witty, fun, urbane, loquacious, and and joking and funny. They're all the funny characters, while basically your central character is more or less wallpaper. It's dead, and that is related to something else, which is the adversary. When that happens in a script, almost always the problem is there is no adversary, or there is no powerful adversary. Adversary is so critical. People need to work on their adversary until it is. The adversary should be the strongest person in the story. When I was coming up, they would say, oh, they have to be equal. They have to be equal in power to the hero. No, they have to be much more powerful than the hero. It has to look, for most of the movie, it has to look like the hero has no bloody way of defeating this adversary or surmounting the problems being presented by this adversary. But they do it. They outthink them, and they outtry them and drive, and they can make it happen. And that's a story with great conflict, with a hero who is doing things, who sucks us in emotionally, that we can ride along happily for the journey. And that's how the good ones work. Which that's probably more than two. I threw in, made that 3 or 4. But the third, I think I would say, is getting it out there too soon.
Okay.
That's what destroys most screenplays. It's hard, writing a screenplay, a feature-length screenplay. Heavens, that's hard, really hard. And it's not necessarily all pleasant undertaking, labor. It hurts. You tear your hair out. You pound your head against the wall, sometimes literally, but finally you got a draft. Oh God, I did it. Here it is. I'm going to get it out quickly as I can. And that's the time of great danger. You can't just send it out. It is not ready. The hard work is in the outline. And it has to be a very complete outline. And you have to have confidence that all story problems have been addressed. So the first thing you have to do is the dirty work, the outline. Write yourself. I would say hero goal sequences, because I happen to think it and I happen to know that it works. But however, beat sheet, however they do it, have a very complete outline. Write badly with pride. Write a piece of junk. If you're just sitting there staring at the wall for an hour, okay. What would you write if you were just really writing trash, really writing garbage? Go for it. Because you never know when the real ideas, the depth of what you are doing will be sparked. You just don't know. You don't know.